All right, welcome. So I feel like a little high energy today. I'm not sure why. I just felt like I was like, oh, record. I've been fucking hustling all day. I feel pretty high energy, but we're gonna try and jump in uh to we've got to talk about today. Jeez, I feel all of I'm not on drugs. I want everyone to know that. I just realized that for a second that's gonna seem like I'm fucking losing my goddamn mind. Anyway, Anyway, slow it down. Let's take a breath. I watched a movie this weekend on Netflix. It was Sunday morning. I was chilling out, didn't have work. So I was like, oh, let me pop on a movie, do a little work on my laptop type of thing, some personal stuff. And I was like, let me throw on a movie that I can just like kind of have on in the background. And I'm a big Vince Vaughn guy. So I was like, oh, let me check out this movie Nona's that he put out on Netflix. And it's about this guy who opens a restaurant, but hires a bunch of Italian grandmothers or nonas to come and like work in the kitchen so they can make all the family recipes and stuff. And they're showing all the food that's involved with like the making of type of shit. And I have an associate an associate's degree in culinary arts and operations. I worked in a restaurant. I didn't grow up cooking. Uh, my mom doesn't really cook a ton. She makes things here and there. It's a lot of like basic comfort food. It's not like the most, it's not like, oh my God, just like my grandmother used to make. It's not like that kind of stuff. My dad doesn't cook like at all. One of his staple meals is a can of chicken breast that he stirs up with a fork so it becomes like shredded, and he mixes that with like mayonnaise. And he'll eat those. He's a big tuna melt guy, which there's nothing wrong with tuna melts, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that's at the same level of gabagool, whatever the fuck that is. My sister doesn't even she hates cooking, is infuriated by cooking. I love it. I'm the only one in my house that can really cook. And it got me thinking, I was like, damn, I don't think my family has like those kinds of hand me down recipe, like tradition type of things, like you would see like in an Italian family or a French family or a Hispanic family of any descent. Cause even like my ex girlfriend is Portuguese and she has like recipes that were handed down to her. So I know it's any Spanish speaking family, but my family just doesn't have that. Which is fine. I think the only thing I remember consistently seeing at, like, family reunions or or whatever it is that at Christmas, when we do the extended family Christmas, there's always a meat pie, which as far as I can tell is homemade crust, which is delicious, and ground beef inside of the pie crust. So it's meat pie. The recipe goes back just ages and ages, like the 1400s. This recipe goes back, maybe even further, of just zero seasoning, 2 ingredient meat pie, which they can't get enough of it. I mean, I don't like it's not bad, it's dry, but that's like the only like what's a classic O'Connor family recipe. And it is the meat pie. I don't know of anything else that's like a hand-me-down thing, and it might be the whitest part about my entire family, is that we have 0 hand-me-down foods. We live in we live in Connecticut. It's all like there's no New England accent. Like, my dad has one a little bit because he was born in Rhode Island. There's no New England accent in Connecticut. I didn't grow up with a single person who had any hint of New England accent that I can remember. And it's like, geez, we are the whitest, as white as you can get. Salt, pepper, mayo. I talked about putting mayonnaise on a turkey for Thanksgiving to like keep it moist, and people looked at me like I was insane. I was like, no, it's a thing and it works really well. And they're like, you are crazy. So that's what I'm dealing with hella white, family biz, just fuck. That was the big realization. I watched a movie and was like, my family's never cooked anything that seems even remotely like that. I don't even know if my grandmother did. And people have been like, she's the best cook I've ever met. And I was like, I don't remember her cooking. I'm not saying she was bad, but that was a while ago and it's just not fresh in my mind. And the stuff that we've got going on is like, I'm like, there's no way that this is like my family grew up making this apart from meat pie, which is crazy to me. I don't, that's nuts to me. But let's get let's get into the actual episode here. Welcome back to Pat on the Back, the football show where we talk about football and then like kind of other stuff, whatever I feel like talking about. I'm your host, Pat O'Connor. It's my show. I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want. But it is Super Bowl week, a very exciting time, I guess, if you're anyone but the Bills for the last 25 years, whatever the fuck it is. No, it's more than that. I'm a fucking idiot. It's like 30 years. Infuriating to be like, oh, we're so close. This was such a frustrating year to be like, at times where we look like unbeatable. Like week 1 when we had a 15-point comeback or whatever the fuck it was. Like we had so many great moments and then there was so much pressure. And then the Super Bowl's coming up and it's like, damn, don't even get to watch my team. I don't even know if we had any players participate in the Pro Bowl. Not that I give a shit about that. If I'm being completely honest, I don't give a fuck about the Pro Bowl at all. I think it's a borderline, like, useless thing to keep track of. I think All Pro is kind of taking over in terms of, like, what matters a little more. The Pro Bowl is cool, but, like, when we have, like, Shador Sanders is a Pro Bowler as a rookie, it's like, alright, that doesn't really like, the players are telling you that this shit does not matter to them, like, at all. So, that should be a fucking sign that maybe we need to revisit. I feel like the NBA revisits their, like, All-Star Weekend and shit all the time, and we just keep doing, like, the stupidest stuff I've ever fucking seen. It is really what it is that, like, during the game, no one tries anymore. So you don't get to see, like, cool shit happen. Like, the best quarterbacks are supposed to be throwing to the best receivers and the best run like, it's supposed to be exhilarating, and it's honestly, it's kinda dog shit. It's like one team will try and one team won't, and it's just really fucking boring, and now there's, like, flag football is gonna be in the Olympics, and it's like, who gives a fuck about that? But it is Super Bowl week, so we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl, apart from just the Bills who aren't in it, which is maddening. We're gonna talk actual Super Bowl, Patriots versus Seahawks. My take right now at Tuesday, 7:47, my take is that Seattle is gonna fucking throttle New England. I think this is their toughest test yet. I think every time they've played a team, it's been a tough defense that they've been up against, but they've also haven't been facing the best offenses that can, like, really put up numbers on them if they're clicking, and I think that's going to be the case for Seattle. Um, Organizationally for Seattle, I think they're gonna want revenge. Even it's none of the players, but the last time that Seattle was in the Super Bowl, there was the Malcolm Butler pick. Why isn't Marshawn Lynch running the ball at the 1-yard line to win the game? Like, it was one of those, I think. I believe it was that game, last time they were in the Super Bowl, where the Patriots, like, shut down Seattle's dynasty. I don't I To my knowledge, none of the players on Seattle played in that Super Bowl, to my knowledge. Same for the Patriots. I don't think there's any crossover in the players. But organizationally, I guarantee you Seattle's like, we need to fucking smash these guys as hard as we can, like 41 to nothing. I think they would leave unsatisfied. I think if it's less than 48 points to nothing, they're going to be kind of disappointed in themselves, especially playing in San Fran, which is so close to Seattle compared to fucking New England. They got the nice weather going for them. I think the better defense, I think Seattle's got a borderline underrated defense at this point. Um, I know everyone's been it was like, oh well, they face the Broncos and they face the Texans for New England, like coming into this game, and it's like, yeah, but they were like favored in those games, and those two teams didn't have an offense. You're playing a team that is one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent in the league on both sides of the ball. And it's like if like you're fucked, I think. I think 4.5 points is what it opened at. I think that's a generous number. I've heard some people say I think it's gonna be closer than you expect. 4.5 points seems decently close to me. If it ended up, being a 4-point game or a 3-point game, it wouldn't super surprise me. Like, but I think Seattle ultimately wins this one really without a problem. If you're talking like from a gambling perspective, that gambling cannot be why people tune into this show. I have this is of course when I start a football show, that's when I've been the coldest streak of my life in terms of gambling happened when I started a fucking football show. That's nuts. I cannot remember a time where I did worse gambling between college and football. I was absolute horseshit this year. And I've been thinking about starting back on like the this day in history bets that I used to do daily, or just even betting on the Super Bowl. I've been on the fence about because I'm like, should I just wait till football's over and then jump back in? You know what I mean? Like where do you go from there to like break the? I tried everything I could think of. I bet a lot of money. I bet a little money. I bet a bunch of different straight bets. I bet fucking crazy ass parlays. I bet conservative parlays, like two-leggers for like I bet dog shit like gimme wins, like minus 500s, and I didn't pick those up. Didn't pick up the crazy like plus 2200s. I don't know what I had to do. I asked one of my friends, she's a witch, she does spells and stuff. I asked her to do a fucking good luck charm for me. She refused. She said, "No, not for gambling." I said, "Well, that's kind of mean because what it's not for gambling, it's for money, which I'm losing because of gambling. So if you could help a brother out, that would be cool." She said, "No, I'm not going to support your degeneracy and your negative addictions like that." I was like, "It's not an addiction. I can stop anytime I want to. Please find a way for me to win money so that I don't have to stop." You know what I mean? Like, just help a brother out. She refused. Um, anyway, I think Seattle's got this one in the bag. I don't know if I'm gonna take take them on the spread. It depends on what I see from that number, like, when the when the day comes, I think I'll bet it on the day of the Super Bowl and try and get as many opinions as I can. But I think it's Seattle all day. I think Sam Darnold looks way like a lot of people were like, "Oh, last year, the last 2, 3 games of the season, he looked like shit, and they lost in the playoffs." And I think this is a different Sam. I think he's gonna be really good. Because I mean, New England's defense is good. I don't know if it's as good as you would be led to believe because of the teams that they've played. Um, I mean, even in the playoffs, like CJ Stroud he was just awful in that game. And then Jared Stidham in the snow was like, okay, he sucked too. Like, I'm not going to pretend like he put up a shit ton of points or yards or anything. I mean, he had a better passing game, I believe, than Drake May did, but that's a lot of game plan. People have told me I didn't watch the Broncos Patriots game because I shoveled the drive. I think I said that I shoveled the driveway, and then I realized that this game was boring as fuck, and I was like, I don't really want to watch that. I'm gonna watch Harry Potter instead, like a goddamn man. This feels a little rambly out of the gate, that's alright. But my Super Bowl preview, my prediction, I keep having to dial myself back, is I just I don't see New England pulling this one out. I think when you're going against the audience that's going to be predominantly, um, on the Seattle side of things just because of where it's located. I think the revenge factor, I think the maturity that they have, that not that, there's loaded in terms of age difference, but I do think that there are some key difference makers, um, in the Seattle organization as opposed to the New England organization. It's Drake May's young. He's gonna make mistakes. Everyone does. He's got like 5 touchdown passes and 5 picks in the playoffs. That's how it goes. I think the part that infuriates me the most about this is that I do think Seattle's going to win, but then all of the fucking New England Patriots fans are gonna be like, "We were blessed to make it that far," like, we had, no plans of this. We were hoping to go to win 9 games and then maybe make the playoffs and, one and done." And it's like, "Okay, go fuck yourself, though." You know what I mean? Like, that's an annoying position to have from a team that makes the Super Bowl. Like, it's been my problem most of the season where it's flipped back and forth, where New England fans have been like, "Oh, we're all the way fucking back," and it's like, "Well, you have a cake schedule," and then they're like, "Oh, well, fucking," I just completely lost my train of thought. Fuck. So it's yeah, so where they have, like, the dog shit schedule and they're like, "Oh, we're all the way back," and then they'll be like, "Well, we didn't expect to be this good." It's like, okay, either fucking stand on business and fucking pull your cock and balls out or don't. You know what like, I don't want if you're gonna be like, "No, we're so back, we're so great," I don't wanna hear, like, we're grateful to even have made it to the Super Bowl, like, we exceeded our own expectations. Like, I don't wanna hear that. I wanna hear on business, like, "We deserve to be here. We were the best team in the AFC, and we fucking should have won that Super Bowl. Like, we had a shot." I wanna hear people be, like, on business. I don't wanna hear the wish-wash back and forth, and maybe that's me being like, the Patriots can't win type of thing, like, because I'm a Bills fan and they're a division rival and, like, they don't deserve to be back. Maybe that is me being like, well, they're in a no-win situation from a perspective of mine. I'm not gonna rule that out, but I'm also gonna be like, well, yeah, they can't win. Like, I'll cop to that now that I'm saying it out loud and kinda getting the thought process going. I'll cop to being the position of Seattle can't lose and, New England can't win. And no matter what situation occurs, New England can't win for me. If they win the Super Bowl, I'm like, "You played some cake teams, and then you beat Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl, like, good job, you played Sam Darnold." And if they lose, I'm gonna be like, "Jesus Christ, you fucking lost to Sam Darnold?" But I know the fans because I live in New England as a Bills fan. I know what the fans are like, and they're insufferable no matter where on the scale that they land. Like, I just some of my best friends are New England fans because I had no choice. The entire rest of my family is New England fans. So, whatever. But I stand on business. They are an insufferable group of people that I love my family and all my friends. But New England fans, they suck. I don't like them because of the wishy-washiness that they're gonna have of this season on we're back and well, we're lucky to be here type of thing. Like we didn't expect this. Like, fuck that. I don't like that. Can't say it enough. Don't like that. You've made it to the Super Bowl. I want to see fucking balls on business. 10 toes down. This is what we fucking do. This is what the organization's about. And if you lose, I want that same energy. I don't want to be like, I don't want the so like, "Oh, yeah, it sucks that we lost, but it is what it is. Like, we did better than we thought we would." Like, fuck that. You made it to the Super Bowl, you don't get that stance anymore, okay? Fucking 10 toes down, be on business, okay? That's it. That's it. That's the Super Bowl preview. Don't be fucking if you're a New England fan, don't be a pussy no matter which way this goes. If you're a Seattle fan, do everything in your power to make New England fans feel like fucking pussy. I don't think New England realizes how much of the country is rooting against them. It's everyone. Everyone wants Seattle to win. Everyone thinks Seattle's going to win. The number opened at 4.5. I haven't looked at it in the past couple days. I'm almost positive it's going to grow to a 5.5. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if it hit a 5.5, maybe even a 6 or a 6.5. I don't think it'll be that big of a score, but Seattle is the favorites for a reason. And they're going to dominate this fucking game. So to piggyback off the Super Bowl stuff, I had a fun idea a couple months ago, way back early in the season. I was like, it'll be fun if when the Super Bowl comes around the week before, I'm going to put together a fantasy team of players that I think would win the Super Bowl this year against the favorite, whoever the favorite was. Now it's Seattle. So we're going to assume in this situation, New England's out, Seattle's in because they're the favorite. So in this hypothetical game, it's a fantasy team. These are the rules that I applied to create this fantasy team. The rules. They have to have been drafted after, like in the year 2000 or later. So there will be no Randy Moss. There will be no Tony Gonzalez. There's no fucking Dan Marino. Okay? If they were not a full-blown 2000s player, they're not in. You got to be drafted. No earlier than 2000, you have to be drafted. You have to have already retired. You have to have no Super Bowl wins. A Super Bowl appearance, maybe, but 100% no wins. And it goes, can I put together a roster, which a lot of them will look like, obviously, it's the greatest player of their generation. They're going to be in. Like, it might be a no-brainer type of situation, but it is still a fun, like, oh, just imagine these guys playing together. This is the last rule that I had. The coach has to no longer be coaching in the NFL, no longer be coaching in the NFL, and they only get 1 week of practice. This team was put together. Today is February 3rd. The Super Bowl is fucking on like the 10th or whatever it is. I don't remember. 1 week before, so the Sunday before, that's when they all get the phone call, "Hey, show up, San Fran, we're gonna do a practice, we're gonna try and win the Super Bowl. 1 game." This is who I would pick. To lead us off, to be leading this locker room as the man, you gotta go Andrew Luck. One of the greatest Ivy League quarterbacks of all time. He was riddled with injuries because of a piss-poor offensive line. I think you take him, you give him any weapon, any playbook, give him a day and a half, and he's gonna be executing like a motherfucker. I think he could do it today if he just retired out of nowhere, not injury related, and he just was like, "I'm done with football." He came back and played today, I think he would sling it like a motherfucker. He would be fantastic. So we're gonna have Andrew Luck in at quarterback. Now our starting running back, I used fantasy football rules a little bit on this where I went 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end. Well, or I should say 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Okay. We'll say he's a flex, not a second running back. And then I went with an offensive line unit, a defensive unit, a kicker, and 1 key defensive player who will rotate in. Okay, those rules might be a little complicated. Keep an eye out. I'm going to throw up a graphic. These are the rules. It's a little complicated, but this is how we're doing it. So Andrew Luck's in at a quarterback. Our next player in, our next phone call is Adrian Peterson. I believe he beat his children. I believe he beat his wife. I don't remember that. I'm just thinking of that in the moment, but when I wrote his name down, I did not think of that. He is undeniably great. The last non-quarterback to win the MVP back in 2012. He is a fantastic player, probably deserved to win a Super Bowl, though to my knowledge he did not. He would be so fucking good. There's nothing he can't do, you know? You know who else can't do anything? Megatron, Calvin Johnson. Played for 9 years, loyal to the soil in Detroit. Didn't retire because of injury, didn't retire because of he was forced into it. There were no allegations. He wasn't blacklisted from the league. He just went 9 years. I'm done. And I think he was still the best receiver in the league when he did retire. Calvin Johnson was so good, and he'd be a fantastic number one target for Andrew Luck. And that is not to sell short the second receiver, the wide receiver two, the slot guy, whatever you need him to do, put him anywhere on the field. He's going to get it done. Doesn't need the big plays. Larry Fitzgerald, all reliable, more tackles in his career than he has drops. That's insane because I don't know if you figured it out by the list. He's a wide receiver. He's not playing defense. He's not tackling that many fucking guys. He does catch the ball a lot, and you would think he would drop it every now and then. Not Larry Fitzgerald. He is the most sure-handed receiver of all time. This may be hyperbole, but I'm standing on business. He was absolutely fantastic. Deserved to win a Super Bowl. Another loyal to the soil kind of guy in Arizona. An all-time great. At tight end, we're going to take Antonio Gates. Maybe he's not the best tight end. He is a Hall of Famer, I believe. Maybe not the flashiest. Maybe not the most exciting. Maybe not the pick everyone else would take. But when you're talking about people who haven't won a Super Bowl at the tight end position, I don't think you're going to get much better than Antonio Gates. Who are you going to take? Tony Gonzalez? He was drafted in 97. Okay, so he's out of this. But when you're looking at guys who could win a Super Bowl and who couldn't, and you're talking about the tight end position, Antonio Gates is right up there. Tough to not pick him. So we're going Antonio Gates. And then our flex position, we're going to bring him in. It seems a little funky, a little weird, maybe a little too redundant, but I think DeMarco Murray 100% deserves to be on this team. 100%. Especially when you put him behind the 2016 Cowboys offensive line. Now, that is Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott's first year, when they had arguably their best seasons collectively. They had 13 wins. They went to the playoffs. They were like, holy shit, these guys look unstoppable. Dak Prescott looks like a steal in the fourth round. Ezekiel Elliott looks like every bit of money that they will pay him for the rest of his career. He fell off quickly, but he looked great, and that is largely attributed to that O-line. They're considered the best unit on that 2016 team by far, one of the best offensive lines of the 2000s. Now, again, there may be some loophole. I don't remember every player. I didn't check the status of every offensive lineman that played in 2016. But I know that within 2 or 3 years, the conversation did become, hey, our offensive line is starting to get old. We don't know how much longer these guys are going to be around. Okay, fine. If there's one who's still in the league and I missed it, that's on me, big dog. I didn't Google every single name. Okay? I may have missed it. Those players who I'm sure are not in the league anymore, the 2005 Chicago Bears, one of the greatest defenses of all time. 12 point fucking like 4 points per game or some shit. They were insanely good. They were so good, it makes you wonder how the Bears are considered to suck. In 2005, I don't even remember who their quarterback was. I don't think that was Jay Cutler in 2005. I don't know. I didn't look that shit up. I don't even remember who was on this team. Brian Urlacher is the only player I remember from the 2005 Chicago Bears defense. Doesn't matter. They were fan fucking tastic. If I was going to rotate one player into that defense who's never won a Super Bowl but deserved one, it's probably JJ Watt. He's led the league in sacks like 2 or 3 fucking times. I think he broke the record for a single season tackles for loss or some shit. Like, just an incredible player. You throw him in with the rest of that 2005 Chicago Bears. That's insane. Do I realize this is a little cheat codey? Now that I'm almost all the I have one player left and I'm like, yo, this is definitely my fantasy team will stomp the 2025 Seattle Seahawks. I agree because it's overpowered. I'm realizing that now that I'm saying it all out loud. But that doesn't short sell our last player who we're going to throw in here, Sebastian Janikowski, played 17 years with the Raiders, has the record for most 50-plus yard field goals of all time. It was close. He was drafted in 2000, so he almost didn't make the cut. Or I don't know if he was drafted. He was at least his first season was in 2000. So he almost didn't make the cut. Now the Chicago Bears defense, now that I'm saying that, there was probably a lot of those guys who were drafted before the year 2000 as well. But what am I going to check? Like, I'm going to fact check like 24 players and when they were drafted in the 2005 Chicago Bears. No, cut me some slack. I'm not perfect. Okay. I did my best on this. And now that I'm running through the whole thing, I'm realizing I may have given myself some fucking mistaken loopholes. But either way, we got Andrew Luck, Adrian Peterson, Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Antonio Gates, DeMarco Murray, the 2005 Bears, the 2016 Cowboys O-line, Sebastian Janikowski, and just J.J. Watt just for a little fun. They are dominating. With 1 week of practice, those guys would come in, just a little Pro Bowl versus the Super Bowl. They would win the Super Bowl. Hands down. Again, now that I ran through it, this was a thought I had months ago because I was like, damn, it would have been cool to see Andrew Luck win a Super Bowl. That was the stem of the thought. Just would have liked to have seen Andrew Luck win the Super Bowl. And now here I am talking about it on the podcast, and I realize, yeah, well, I may have not thought this through in terms of how competitive that game would actually be. Turns out, not that competitive. Turns out, Seattle and Sam Darnold will get stomped. Turns out, JSN would put up 20 yards and 5 drops. And that's on me for not realizing that before starting this segment. But that's, hey, what do you want me to do? You know, my bad on that. My bad on that. You fumble sometimes. You fumble the bag sometimes. All right. It is what it is. All right. Let's move on. I got a couple things here. Things I'm not buying this week. We've got a few things to move through on this one. The first one is that I'm not buying that Caleb Williams is not a furry. And seems, I don't want to seem like I'm just shitting on him because I'm not trying to. Okay? That's not what this is. This is not me trying to put down Caleb Williams for his out of work activities. He could do whatever he wants. And I guarantee you, I haven't heard anyone talk about the furry thing. I mean, I don't listen to every media outlet. I can't keep up. There's too much. Some of the media outlets I listen to, their shows are several hours long. I'm going to miss stuff. But as far as I know, no one has talked about this because it happened quickly. It's kind of touchy, but I'll talk about it. Caleb Williams posted an image on his Instagram story. Just I last earlier last week. I don't remember exactly which day it was, but apparently in January of 2026, I saw this on Instagram. He posted a picture of of three individuals in furry costumes onto his Instagram story, and it was quickly deleted. Now, reportedly, from what I heard, it was Caleb Williams was supposed to be dressed up as the fox, I believe, in that photo. I don't have the photo. I couldn't save the photo. Like I said, he deleted it quickly. I don't even remember exactly what the caption said, but this was a thing. And what we are hearing now a little bit through the grapevine, I'm doing this. I was like, I gotta know. He went to a furry convention. 100% he went to a furry convention. But apparently, this was his rumored girlfriend. I'm gonna say her name is Ashley. It's spelled Ashley, like Ash Aley. I'm gonna say Ashley. If that's mispronounced, my apologies. She posted a video of herself wearing a large fur coat while leaving a Bears game, which some social media users conflated with the furry community rumors. Now, I don't think wearing a fur coat is indicative of being a furry, because as we know, Caleb Williams is considered to be one of the more fashion forward, we'll say, NFL players, at least in terms of a quarterback. I don't want my quarterback having a lot of style, frankly. That's one of my problems with Joe Burrow. Caleb Williams has been fantastic despite being even more eccentric than Joe Burrow is. Kyler Murray is another one where you take fashion's about taking risks. I saw that in a TV show about Vikings, and they said fashion is about taking risks. And some of these guys do it. But sometimes you wish they wouldn't. So do I think that his girlfriend or rumored girlfriend wearing a fur coat to a Bears game in January is indicative of him or her being in a part of the furry community? No. Do I think Caleb Williams posting a picture of him in a furry costume at a furry convention on his Instagram story and quickly deleting it might be a little more indicative that he may be involved in that community? I think there's a decent shot. I think that could be the case. I'm not going to rule that one out. I'm no expert. I'm not a fashion guy. I'm not a furry guy. I don't know about these kinds of things. I don't know what his girlfriend is into, what he's into. What I do know is that as long as you're winning football games, no one cares about your nail polish. No one cares about how tight your pants are, how much leather you wear, or if you wear a helmet or, like a mascot helmet that looks like a fox. No one cares as long as you're winning games. And hey, he had a hell of a season with his first season with Ben Johnson, led the Bears to the playoffs. I believe they were the number 2 seed in the NFC. Keep doing that shit. No one gives a fuck what you do outside of work, bud. In fact, I say more power to you. Be different. Provide us some entertainment. You're not gonna be a Jameis Winston, but who is? That's an unfair, unrealistic standard for you to be that hot on the microphone. Express yourself with your big furry paws, big dog. If you start to play bad or start losing, no one's really gonna care. But it's like, I don't even know how to say. It's like if you're a recovering alcoholic, but you go to the bar by yourself, it's like, what are you doing? Like, that's weird now. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares if you're a furry as long as you're winning football games. But the moment you start being like a long term shitty, This isn't like you had a bad game. This is like a month and a half in a row. People are gonna start to go like, "What the fuck's with the furry thing?" Just like they did with the nail polish. They're gonna be like, "The nail polish seems weird." Like, it's weird that he cried at a loss at USC. That's weird. Like, it doesn't really matter. Has no bearing on the game, has no bearing on what people think of you, as long as you're winning. Unfortunately, that's a part of the NFL. It's you hate to see it, but that's just how it is. You know, like, I don't wanna put that on anybody, but that's how it is. We're gonna move on from that because I don't know. It's a slippery slope on that topic, but I'm cool with it. I believe he's a furry. I don't care. Do you, boo boo. Doesn't hurt me at all. But I'm not buying that he's not a furry. Okay, he is. There's not a doubt in my mind that he is. Rolling on to the next thing I'm not buying. I'm not buying it's I'm out. I'm out on ripped old ladies. And it's not in a let me set the scene a little before we just shit all over me, okay? Ripped old ladies. I have no problem with an older woman. I have no problem with anyone, any individual at all, getting their fitness on, eating right, being healthy, doing you, working out. Hey, live your life, enjoy your life, do your thing. I like to work out too. I'm at the gym 6 days a week. The thing that kind of gets me a little bit is when it's like an older woman, like who's clearly in like 55 plus, and they are like shredded, like lean muscle, but like recently lean. So like we're still seeing like the wrinkles and stuff because you're choosing to get a tan and wear a tank top and it's all well and good. I just don't want to see it while I am also lifting weights. I don't want to see it at the gym. If you're going to hit the beach, have at it. No complaints from me. Will probably take a second look. I am but a man. But if at the it's just something about it at the gym where I'm like and you're choosing to only wear, like, a training bra or whatever the fuck the thing, like, it kinda looks like a tank top, but it doesn't come down all the way, like, their stomach is still exposed. I'm pretty sure that's a training bra, I don't know. When you're wearing something like that, and I can see, like, every muscle fiber in your arms and shoulders, and it's the same for I don't like looking at, like, ripped old guys too, that's weird to me, but they don't wear like, I can't usually see their bellies. Like, that's all fine if you're ripped and shredded, but when you have, like, this you still have, like, the wrinkles on you in places, it's like, I'm happy for you that you're taking care of yourself, I'm full support of that. I would just rather you throw on a longer t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something, like, just something that's, like, not distracting in a negative way. Like, I don't want to look at you and be like, I don't like seeing that." I want to look at someone in the gym at all times and be like, "Good for them." Like, it's if they're getting in shape, I think that's fantastic. You take care of yourself, I think that's fantastic. I just don't want to have the first thought be like, "Ugh," like, I don't want that because that takes away from your success. This sounds I did not pitch this appropriately, but I hope that my point is coming across effectively. That I want it to be all rooting for you. I don't want it to be rooting for you with a slight undercut of I don't like what I'm looking at. Because it diminishes the hard work you've put in, and that's not fair. That point did not come across the way I wanted it to at all. When I wrote it down, I was like, "Hey, let's talk about this." It did not seem that, like, problematic. And now I have said it all out loud, and I'm like, "Shit, probably should have, like, written this point out a little bit more, but that's okay. We're gonna power straight through and try to completely ignore that minor hole I may have dug myself into." I'm gonna talk about the a thing that I don't know if it's a thing I'm not buying. It's just a thing that I have statistically compiled through my own experience, and this is indisputable through my own experience. You can't dispute my experience. I walked by a gentleman at work who I know is from the United Kingdom. I believe he's British. Didn't get a read on the accent. I don't know. I believe he's British. Either way, he's from the United Kingdom. He's a white guy with a beard. I'm a white guy with a beard. If you're a white guy and you're listening to this, what you know is that if we walk by each other at the store, on the sidewalk, and we just kind of like, kind of not lock eyes, but like kind of look at each other, you hit the smirk and nod. Just a how you doing? Smirk and nod. Don't have to say anything. No one's day is interrupted. Smirk and nod. Keep moving. I hit this UK guy because it was similar experience of just walking by each other, paths crossing, didn't say anything. I hit him with a smirk and nod. He hit me with a nod. No smirk. No, he didn't give me the courtesy of the smile in return. He just hit me with like a nod. It means nothing, but the white guys in the UK, like they're not the same as ours. In my experience, 100% of United Kingdom white guys do not give you a smirk and nod. They don't give you a smile and nod greeting as you walk by shoulder to shoulder. They do not. In my experience, 100% of guys, 1 out of 1, that's 100% of UK guys do not give you a smile and nod. They give you a nod. They give you a borderline passive aggressive nod, which I didn't love it. I don't know why. It doesn't mean anything. It should not have even registered in my brain, but I saw it and I was like, "The fuck was that?" Like, why didn't you just, you know? Like, I gave you the smile and the nod. You give me don't hit me with a nod. Don't just don't say that was a thank you. I said, "Have a good day," and you said, "Thank you." Where's my fucking you too? Okay? The smile back is the you too. The nod is the thank you. Give me the fucking smile is all I'm s it's a stupid point, but it did don't expect a you too from these UK guys. It's crazy. Absolutely not. Couldn't don't know why it bothered me. I've been thinking about it for 2 days. Drive me crazy. It doesn't matter at all. We're gonna wrap up talking about one thing. Uh, we're gonna wrap up talking about one thing. We're gonna wrap up talking about this last thing. Um, I don't even know how to get into it. All right, I will just dive in. As some of you may know, if you listen to Rudy Tuesday, uh, a lot of you may not know if you'll really only listen to Pat on the Back, or even if you do listen to Rudy Tuesday, we haven't talked about it in a while. I have an ongoing bet with the co-hosts of Rudy Tuesday, Breck Michael and Rudy Marinosi. If you enjoy the show, please go check out that show, Rudy Tuesday, every morning or every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Great show, great hangout. Please check that out. It's tons of fun. I have a bet with them when we started that show. Coming up on a year ago, not quite, but we are getting there. Where I made a bet with them that in 10 years, I could go out on one date with an NFL cheerleader who, at the time of the date, is an active NFL cheerleader. Now, that seems preposterous. It is more doable than you think. It's classic tactics. Just go where they are. Be where cheerleaders are, and you are more likely to go on a date with them. That's just facts. Okay. I'm calling this Operation Pom Squad. That is a title that ChatGPT and I came up with where they gave me 10 suggestions and I picked the one that sounded the least dumb as fuck. So it is called Operation Pom Squad. We have about 9 years and 2 months left on this, so it's still plenty of time, but my birthday was last weekend. It was on the 25th. Now I'm 28 years old. I'm getting to a point where it's like, okay, we got to start being a little more proactive about this. So, in preparation of going on this date with a cheerleader that is not set up yet in no way, shape, or form, I have changed my workout routine. This is just an update to keep everyone on track. I've changed my workout routine. Now that I'm 28 years old, I'm cutting sweets. I'm cutting drinking. The only time I drink is when I podcast. That's it. And I only podcast twice a week. And I am drinking right now, but I only have one drink when I do this show. And I sip on it. This week it's a Dylan's small batch gin cocktail in a can. Okay. There's a little bit of elderflower in it. I don't know what that is, but it's good. Anyway, I only drink twice a week. I only I work out 6 days a week. I'm changing everything now that my birthday is gone. I don't do my New Year's resolutions at New Year's. I do my New Year's resolutions after my birthday because it's too close to New Year's. So this is a check-in of, hey, we're grinding, we're getting into shape, we're reevaluating. We are, meaning me, we as in me, is going to go on this date with an NFL cheerleader within the next 9 years and 2 months. Book it, guarantee it. I don't know who the cheerleader is. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know what team she plays for. This date will happen. It may not be, it may be 9 years from now where I only got 2 months left on the calendar. It may be 9 years and 1 month from now. I will win this bet. I could not be more passionate about a cause in my life than winning this bet. I have told them I could meet the love of my life. By date number 3, they will know that this bet is in existence. By date number 3, I'm not going to shoot that one up over text. I'm going to roll this one out in person, explain it. Hopefully they'll take that as like, "Oh, he must be really confident. He must really believe in himself. He must be a quirky guy." I'm all of those things. I will go on this date. I will have a it doesn't matter. I could be married for 5 years with 3 kids on the way, all at the same time, but all different ages from one woman. I will go on this date with an NFL cheerleader, and she's going to have to be down with that. That is a no. If the opportunity comes up, I have to do it because I'm going to win the bet. I have to win the bet because I'm pretty sure if I lose the bet, I have to go on a date with a flamboyant homosexual man, which there is nothing against. I have no issue with that except the date part because, like, if I'm single and I go on the date, and that's 10 years from now. If I'm single at 38 with no kids, no girlfriend, like none of that shit, and I go on a date with a flamboyant homosexual man, no derogatory, no disrespect, I may have to just lock into that relationship for a couple years and just ride that one out and see how it goes because clearly the straight thing ain't working out for me. But I will win this bet. With you guys by my side, back me, support me. If you know someone who is an NFL cheerleader or is in contact with an NFL cheerleader or thinks this would be funny for me to win so that my friends can pay for an extravagant date for 2 people who at a restaurant they will not be at. I believe in this idea. I believe in you. I believe in me. Let's make history. Let's make a regular blue collar guy from New England, give him the opportunity to go on a date with an NFL cheerleader. It is my main motivation in life. It is why I do everything that I do. It's why I do this podcast. It's why I do stand-up comedy. It's the only reason that I am in shape or even remotely close to being in shape. I have no other personality trait than what drives me towards this goal. And with your support and with your help, we can achieve this goal together. I should run for president. God damn, I rallied that thing around. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Let's find this NFL cheerleader. Let's go on a date. This is going to be great. Thank you guys for listening. Love you guys so much.